Audio is recording. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
What up? What up?
All right. Welcome to the first ever AGRKix Webcast. Webcast?
Wetcast?
Webcast? Okay, we're
Vidcast.
doing it again.
Hello, Internet.
Hello, everybody.
We are the AGRKix podcast, and this is the inaugural episode.
The very first episode.
This is totally the first take.
Exactly.
Totally the first take.
So I'm Victor.
Today I'm Hans.
Right, and we are going to be talking about sneakers. We, as a group of AGRKix, we really love sneakers, and we realized that we have so many stories to tell in terms of sneaker wear and streetwear, and then we talk about life.
And general stories in general. We have a lot of stories in our life. So.
Exactly. So, you know, growing up and how different we are and everything, and yet sneakers is the one that kind of grows and how it defines us as a culture as well.
Yeah.
So we decided to start a podcast, a vidcast of, you know, of how sneakers change our lives and shape it. Since this is the very first episode, we figured that we should tell our very first sneaker stories. So, yeah, Hans, what is your first sneaker love and what was the sneaker that you first bought?
Like people say it all the time, but I was always into sneakers. It didn't always go Jordans and shit. Like I started out with Vans, as everyone else. Vans are like the gateway drug, I feel, because it's like the cheapest one. I feel like it's cheaper, of course, but then like it's the most respectable ones for like 300 ringgit for one.
Right.
There's like shops in like Studio R and Stadium and Royal Sporting House where they sometimes have Vans going for like 180 ringgit, 190 ringgit, sometimes 150 ringgit for sale. And that's a pretty fair amount to spend for shoes. So back then in grade school, I was like standard 4, standard 5, I would be spending a ton on Vans, like money that a kid that age not be spending. I used to own like, I don't know, 10 pairs a year.
10 pairs a year?
I used to buy like 10 pairs a year. You know, as a kid, I was always into like all these anime and like all the really cool Japan stuff, you know? And
Right.
Japan is very fashionable, and that really translates into their animation as well. So we have all these like Gensomaden Sayuki and all, where you have all these really cool outfits and shit. So I was always like interested in fashion because of that. But there was this one trip in 2004. I was 11 years old when we went to Harajuku. And I was just walking down the streets being Lil Hans, you know, cheeky Lil Hans with no money in his pocket, just looking through the windows at all this shit that I can't afford. And I saw this one shoe. It had like the Gundam colors, which is this one right here, the Jordan 7 Olympics. I had no idea what they were. They were bloody expensive, because you're even looking at yen, you know, it's like converted. No 11-year-old has the money to buy this kind of shit. We've got like the Gundam colors, you see, it's like white, red, a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow, but that's kind of, that's mustard technically, but I was a colorblind kid maybe, but I thought it was yellow. I thought I was like, oh man, that's the Gundam colors. And I called it the Gundam shoe, and I really wanted them. So it was always at the back of my mind. Of course, I did not get them, and I wasn't the type to be stupid enough to ask my mom to buy me a pair of shoes that I'm most probably gonna outgrow in like a few months. The interest was always there, but the price point just keeps going up and up and up and up. There was this one time in high school when I actually bought a pair of Dunks, and that was like my first actual pair of sneakers. I think I was like 16. That was when I actually used my own money to buy a pair of shoes, because I was like reselling Supreme and stuff. I was a bit of a reseller, you know?
Reselling in high school, right?
Yeah, so reselling in high school.
Before resellers, there was Hans already doing the reseller at high school.
That was a funny situation, because like my mom used to go to New York a lot,
right?
And I would follow her to New York with an empty suitcase, and they would see this one like 14, 15, 16-year-old just like buying Supreme, but at that time they didn't mind. There was this one hilarious story where I was in LA and they had Fairfax. You know, there's one street, Fairfax, Fairfax Road, Fairfax Street, Fairfax, whatever, Fairfax. And they had Supreme there, but across the road they had Odd Future and Tyler the Creator one day was outside Supreme. It was just like chilling out, and Tyler the Creator is him alone is not intimidating.
Right.
But you have his whole posse.
When you get the entourage,
Yeah, he had his whole posse, and I was like, oh, shit, I want to take a photo, but it was like, I'm kind of scared because there's all these big, huge people.
Yeah.
So I went up, said hi, and he was like, oh man, like hey, like in a Tyler the Creator way, he's like, you here for some cream? And I was like, yeah, and he's like, okay, sure. So he kind of like, he opened the door for me. I was like, I should talk to Tyler the Creator opened the door for me, what up? So Tyler the Creator opened the door for me, and I went in, and I think the people in there saw that Tyler the Creator kind of let me in. So in Supreme, like they limit it, you're not allowed to take more than one of the same design, that's it. So, but then because Tyler the Creator opened the door for me, they kind of allowed me to do it. So I just like 3 of this, 2 of that, 5 of this, that kind of thing. And I had like one whole suitcase just full of Supreme that I got at retail. That was when I was like 15 or 16. Yeah, I was always into streetwear at that point. But I wasn't, at that point, that's a reseller. Thing is, when you're a reseller, you don't wear what you sell. Yeah, so I wasn't like...
You don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't exactly wear all this. I was just familiar with like the streetwear, like the hundreds and obey. I wasn't really familiar with the shoe part of it. I went to Australia to study. That was like 2013, 2014. And my mom did this thing where she gave all my 3 years worth of money in a lump sum all together.
That's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. It's my mom's fault. Mom, if you're watching this, you started this. You can't complain. You started this. You started this habit. So, when I got there, I was a bit of an introvert. I'm not gonna say complete introvert, but it's not like I don't like people. It's just I'm very comfortable doing my own. Like I can just stay at home for like, I think because like my dorm was here and my university was just across the road, and there was a grocery store, a McDonald's, a Pizza Hut just down the road that way. So just like my life revolved around these 3 places.
Right.
So it's just like I'd go to classes, I'd eat, grocery shop, I'd go home, then just repeat the same thing. For like maybe 2.5 months, I just had no human interaction. So one day I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go to the city. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna shop a bit. I went to this place called AGRKix 101, and they had this pair sitting on shelf, which is the Jordan 3 Fire Red. I did not know what they were called at the time. I did not know anything about shoes. I just saw them. Was like, actually, I saw them on Instagram.
Right.
There was a Korean rapper from a group called Epic High. The lead rapper, I think it's the lead rapper, but he's one of the main rappers. His name is Tablo. He Instagrammed a picture of him wearing them, and I was like, oh man, Tablo is wearing them.
So you gotta get them.
Yeah, I gotta own a pair too. So I bought them, and they were just sitting on shelf. You don't see that these days, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like certain pairs as well, you don't know what's gonna stay on shelf and what's not.
Exactly.
But anyways, these were on shelf, walked in, paid. They were like 220 AUD at the time. Pretty fair amount. And the conversion rate was about 2.7 at the time. So it was like it was below Malaysian retail. So I went in, I paid for this, I think I wore them straight out the shop.
Nice.
Yeah, I wore them straight out the shop, and I had got a few compliments, and I was like, oh shit, all this human interaction, and all these people, they were like, oh man, nice kicks, man. Australians are friendly that way.
Right.
They're like, oh man, nice kicks, man. Did you know a group on Facebook called the Kickstand? And I was like, oh man, what's the Kickstand? So I was like, okay, you know what? No, hit me up on Facebook, man. I'll add you up on Kickstand. That's my Australian impression, but that's not the way they sound like at all. So I was like, okay, join a group, make friends, and basically it just gave me, gave me people to talk to.
Right.
And it's just like from there, this is like the first love, and this is the first Jordan I ever bought. And basically from there, from this pair, now I have about 90 pairs, and it's getting out of hand. So
And from this pair, how long did it take you to get your dream shoe?
the next year.
The next year.
It took me a year. I got this, not this particular pair, because this is my favorite shoe of all time. I actually have 3 pairs of this.
Right.
One of them is the 2004 pair. which I didn't bring. This one's dead stock. There's a 11.5 and I have a US 12 as well.
Right.
This one, I got the US 12 first. That took me a year. I got it on my birthday. My sisters bought it for me at an insane price, as in like not insanely cheap, insanely expensive. It was about 1,400 ringgit.
Right.
Which is a price you don't pay for Jordan 7. But I loved it so much. I did not know anything about prices at the time, so I was willing to pay it, and technically it was a birthday present, so I didn't pay a thing. So yeah, but look at these. I've got to show this. Look how beat up these are. Look, I'm not sure the camera can catch that, but do you see that?
It's not doo-doo.
That's caca. No, it's not. It's not caca. It's just mud, and
it's a well-worn shoe.
It's a well-worn shoe. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. How about you, Victor?
I was studying in Canada, and at that time...
Canada,
Canada, Alright, someone, I'm not going to go into details or anything like that.
We're not dropping names today.
Not dropping names today.
That's not what we're doing.
And that's how I kind of discovered about Jordans and sneaker culture. And the one shoe that actually got my attention the most was the black cement trees. That, when I saw the picture of that one was the one that sold it for me. And I think up to today, I still haven't gotten a pair of black cement trees.
I don't have a pair of black cement trees. I want a pair.
Yeah, I want a pair too. So it grew from there. The black cement trees cemented myself into becoming a sneakerhead. And I remember I was walking to Champs. I did not know anything about Jordans at all. I didn't even know it was called a black cement tree. All it was this Air Jordan, and that was the black cement tree I saw. And one day I was walking to Champs and I saw this. It was the Son of Mars. I think it was the second version of the Son of Mars. No, first version of the Son of Mars. Last time they just called it the Mars Blackman.
Actually, I don't know the difference between
the Spizikes.
Yeah, the Spizikes and the Son of Mars. Is there a difference?
Yeah, I think there's
like a stamp or like a...
Yeah,
the
like stamps, and you got the Mars Blackman logos and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So when I walked in and I saw this, and I was like, oh wow, this is like the shoe for me. It was oh wow, oh wow. It had like the elephant print, which I loved on the tree, which was the standout for me on the tree. It was like qualities of the 5s, it was the 6s, it was like the little bit of the 4s.
With the mesh, yeah.
Right, with the mesh, and then
Is that laser? That's laser. Right?
Yeah, that's lasered from the 20s. So, and when I saw this, like 5Ms is like from the 5s as well, I was like, this is an awesome shoe to get. And I remember paying 210 Canadian dollars, which was, I think the exchange rate was about 3.4 or 3.5 at that time. So I paid a lot of...
Pretty painful.
Yeah, it was painful, but again, I didn't really know much about sneakers at that point. I just saw this and I knew I loved them. So yeah, I bought this. And
it ain't about the money. If you like it, buy it. Don't care what people say.
Exactly. Which is a perfect segue into my love of sneakers. The one that I wanted to get, the most coveted for me, was this 11s, the Bred 11s. It came out in the same year, I think. And due to unforeseen circumstances, which I won't name names,
hey.
I wasn't able to get this one when it was released. So I was really bummed out about it. And shortly a while after, I came back to Malaysia. I finished my studies, and I was a really dark, depressed
What year was that when you came back?
I came back in about 2012.
2012?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I came back, I was kind of moping around and kind of depressed. And the one thing that got me through was actually sneakers. It was something to look forward to because I knew that there was a release date like every 3 weeks or so. And there was always something for me. If I can get through to the next release date, I knew I'm going to be okay.
Like Chris Brown says, like Jordan's drop every Saturday.
Every Saturday, exactly.
Yeah.
I just knew I had to get to that point. And I queued up, I got friends to help me out, I got some plugs, and they slowly...
we got plugs now.
We got plugs.
We got plugs now. We got plugs now.
And yeah, I can remember just buying shoe after shoe, and it became an obsession. I met great people. I was invited into communities and stuff like that, joined AGRKix. And it was a fun time for me. It's now sneakers kind of defines my life because it's the love of sneakers that got me through that dark period of time. So I'm really thankful for that. But coming back, it was that I remember it was about 10 pairs in, and I managed to find this on eBay, which was probably I should have legit checked this, but
no buyer protection.
No buyer protection.
No buyer protection back then.
But yeah, so when I saw this was for a fairly reasonable price. I can't remember really how much I paid for this, and I got this. And 11s were always my loves. Like when I saw it with the pattern leather, it was something different about this shoe that made me want to have it. And I always love, you know, the sneaker hit, the hypebeast colors was the black and the red. That was the color for me.
Total hypebeast colors.
The hypebeast colors.
I never liked this pair.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the Bred 11s. Just because like the white and the red feels like a clown makeup with the red feels like a lipstick, you know, like I don't know, it's too weird to me.
Right.
People did this one thing. There was this one trend where they used to black out the white and they used to call it the dirty Bred 11s, which I think was even worse, just because it became too black, and then you have the contrast of the patent leather and the matte black is man.
Right. But do you like 11s in general?
I used to not.
Right.
But one thing changed. Speaking about first love, perfect segue. One time when JD Sports was opening in Malaysia, they had a release for the 7210s in Pyramid. Pyramid. There was a queue. It wasn't a long queue, maybe about 10 hours.
Oh wow.
Which is not that bad.
Right.
Not that bad.
For a sneaker, yeah.
Yeah, for a pair of 11s. Because right before that, like a few weeks back, they released it on Nike, the official big release.
Right.
And people actually lined up for like 2-3 days for that.
Yeah.
That was a long wait, wasn't it?
Right.
I wasn't interested in them at first. I actually assisted 8 pairs for retail because back then I had plugs.
Yeah, you had plugs at that.
I had plugs now.
Right.
No, but I managed to assist a few pairs, and I wasn't really that interested in them. But I was going to assist a pair for my friend in Melbourne. His name is Paul Bernard Xavier. Shout out. He helped me get my Yeezy 2 flats.
Oh.
So, yeah, so I got to give something back.
Right.
I tried to, but it was like a 10-hour camp out. But halfway through, with like 5 hours in, I found out that they didn't have his size, which was a 13. Because Malaysians don't exactly wear a 13. There's not that many Malaysians wearing a 13, so they didn't carry it. So I was like, you know what, I'm 5 hours in, what the f do I do now? Right? Like, I can't just waste 5 hours.
Right.
So it's like, you know what, I'm gonna get a pair for myself, and I fell in love with the shoe. It's like the leather is amazing.
Yeah, the 7210s, it's an amazing pair of 11s. I still love my 7210s.
Yeah.
And if any 11s that you can fall in love with, 7210 is the easiest. It's the leather quality on it, the tongue, the quality is just absolutely amazing on the 7210s.
There was actually a collector called Ballin Twin. I'm not sure if we can find a picture. Who's editing this? What's our editing budget? What's the editing budget? Okay, we might put in a picture here. There's a collector called Ballin Twin.
Right.
He actually had like a sneaker collection video from Sneaker News on YouTube.
Right.
And he actually had a sample version of the 7210s on it. And it was really weird. I think it's a sample version. It looks just like the 7210, but it has like, the sole is completely weird. It's like completely wavy, and it looks like the Reebok, you know, the Reebok. There was a Reebok shoe with the weird zigzaggy shit. No, it's one of the more recent ones. I'm not sure. It's one of those really wacky soles. That was like one of those things where you know what? I saw a sample version of that shoe. That's kind of a cool shoe. You know, it's like I'm a bit of a like weirdo. When if it's limited, I want it. Yeah. Is that a hype beast? I'm not sure. That's like the opposite of a hype beast.
No, if it's limited, you want it. That means that's your hype beast.
It's a hype beast. I'm a hype beast. Hey guys, I'm Hans. I'm
Hans.
I'm 24. Hi Hans.
Again, this is not even my first 11. My first 11 was a Concord 11 when I was in Japan, and was actually sitting there at K-Skid.
Yeah.
I remember K-Skid is an amazing place.
Shout out to K-Skid.
And it was sitting there on the shelf. It was I think it's about the same price as what I bought for this. It was that low. So yeah, I went in it, got it, and that was my first 11. The Concord 11s were my first 11s, but I always wanted the Bred 11s. This is the one that got away. So like, yeah, after that, got the eBay, so now I'm at 185 pairs, I think.
He does this crazy thing where you can follow his Instagram. There's this crazy thing where he numbers his shoes, like by purchase. I tried to do that. I gave up after cause I lose track.
Right.
Okay, one thing I'm gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
If you sell a pair, do you minus a number or do you just keep going?
I think I'll just keep going. I've asked myself that many times. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have like a separate pair of like, I've already sold this. But in my life, it's like, it's more of not how many shoes I own now, but how many shoes I've actually bought.
Fair.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are our first loves and our sneaker stories of how we got into the sneaker game, so to speak.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do more. There's a lot more sneaker stories about what we're going to tell.
A lot more.
Alright, so yeah, that's it for the first episode. I think it's a good one.
Wait, I gotta say, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. We're YouTubers now.
YouTube Live. Alright, so this is Victor signing off.
This is Hans.
Peace.